Tonight, on this stage, Simon Phillips.
Very interesting. He noticed that over the years, when I had the Who kit, right, the rack and the deep toms, I used to have them much more angled. And I think when I joined Toto, 92, I had cymbals more angled and toms more angled. It was on a rack, and also the toms were deeper. So I couldn't have a deep tom on a 24-inch bass drum. It would hit the shell. So the only way was actually to tilt it a bit more. And I kind of thought it was a very ergonomic way to play, but then I began to think about it and thinking, no, it's not, actually. So I did away with my drum tech at the time, Larry Crow, I think I was doing a baked potato gig, which is a little club in Los Angeles in the Valley. And so I'd set up a different kit with regular stands because I didn't want to take a rack into, baked potato. And I think he came to pick up the kit and he said, "Oh, great, it's on stands." So I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry." He said, "No, I love it." I said, "Really? You prefer stands?" "Oh, yeah, I hate that rack." I said, "How many years have you been setting that rack up?" So I said, "Are you serious? Because you know what? I don't like a rack. I really don't like the way it makes the drum kit sound and feel. I had to go to enormous lengths to stop the cymbal. You hit a cymbal, and it goes all the way through the rack. If you hit a tom and hold that, you'll feel it. There's nothing better for a cymbal than just to be on 3 rubber feet like this. It's great." So that's when I said, right, let's lose the rack. And let's just set up and, we'll just mark, as we always did. We mark the plinth, which is another reason why I set up on this. It means I can also move things when I want without having to get a toolkit out. A metric and an imperial-sized toolkit. It's like having a Porsche and a Chevrolet, So that's what happened with the toms. I decided, no, I'm going to play differently. I'm using slightly shallower toms now. I can flatten them out, and I personally think it actually looks cooler. And looks is very important. When I was 7, that's why I started playing left-handed, because I couldn't fit that tom-tom in without it being up here because of the hi-hat, right? So I thought, well, what if the hi-hat wasn't there? So I took the hi-hat off, and then I put that tom-tom down, and it looked great. I was 17 years old. I'd spend hours just setting the drum kit up, cleaning it, and new heads. And that's where that came from. So I thought, well, what are we going to do with this hi-hat? So I got a hacksaw, and I got my Ludwig big beat hi-hat, and I'd already sawed the legs off. I sawed the top rod down, the rod and the top tube down. So it became what was known in the Ludwig catalog in 1973 as the Atlas Mid-Boy hi-hat. And I had that catalog all these years until 2 years ago. It was lovely. So if anybody's got an old 1973 Ludwig catalog, I'd love it. Anyway, so I went, that's great. The hi-hat is down here now. But I couldn't play it. That's when I started thinking, I wonder, is it possible to swap from playing right-handed I was 17, I started at 3, so, see, I'm a drummer, I can't count. 14 years of playing one way. Is it possible to switch from playing right-handed lead to left-handed lead? Obviously it was. So that was another thing about, the drum kit looking cool, and, but even now I kind of look at kits and I go, that doesn't look great. Let's change that. Or, you know what I mean? It's important. I think your instrument is very much a reflection of you. And I think you've got to make that instrument obviously very playable. The problem with a drum kit, it consists of many different parts. And the hardest thing is to make it feel like a grand piano or a guitar or a tenor. It's great. These cats walking around, they have it on the back of their shoulder, In Jacob's case, he has 3 horns on the back of his shoulder because he never lets them out of his sight. And it's great because every time it's his instrument. With a drummer and a drum kit, it's very difficult to have that personal connection with your instrument. That's why it takes me hours to prepare a new drum kit. When I arrive, the kit, if it's a new kit, it's just a lump of collection of wood, glue, metal, and plastic. But once I've spent 4 or 5 hours tuning the thing and putting it together, it suddenly becomes an instrument. And then this kit is a few years old now. Not old, but, like 2, 3 years, 4 years. I don't know if you remember how long we've had this. About 4 years, I think. And it's now an instrument. It's my piano. That's how I look at the drum kit. And it's the same with recording. If I'm just going to play kick and snare, I still want everything there because it lends a beautiful, its own reverb unit. Analog reverb unit. That's what's beautiful about real instruments, A piano. Have you ever heard a piano when it's being restrung and they've only put an octave in? It's the most horrendous sound you could ever imagine because there's no resonance. Nothing is working because there's no tension, very little tension, and there's no overtones. There's no sympathetic ring. I laugh when people say, "Oh, the toms are ringing." Great. I've been working for years to get my toms to ring. Got a problem with that? Instruments make noises, right? And it's up to you to make the best noises out of them. That's my concept.